Hi everyone, welcome to this video on the first insight of the book, The Celestine Prophecy, where I'm sharing with you the spiritual insights that are revealed through the book. Okay, so with the first insight, it introduces the idea that people have been looking for something more in their life. They feel like something's missing. They don't have that sense of joy or fulfillment, or something's missing, like they feel they have a higher purpose. And there's this great sense of mass uneasiness, restlessness, like there's something more. There's been a lot of battles between people with their egos, and just a general dissatisfaction and a dissolving of relationships between people, and just a great sense of just there must be something more in life. And then there's been this rise in the last few centuries, what am I talking about, decades, where, and especially in recent times, where there's this great rise in coincidences or synchronicity, where suddenly we begin to become more aware of something greater going on. So when I look back, I know I've had heaps of examples of this, and I'm sure you do too. So let's look at some examples. So it might be that you just meet somebody unexpectedly, and then they say something or introduce you to someone, and then that leads to something else. And or it's when things just seem to line up, like you meet someone and then they say, oh, did you hear about this? And then you go there, and then something opens up, and then you get information, and then before you know it, you're over here, and it might be, you know, a new job or a new friend that you meet, or just some helpful information for your journey. So, you know, another example is when you open a book to a page and it has the exact information that you need, or just something inspiring or meaningful to you at that time. It might be that you suddenly just get onto this internet website and you have no idea how you even got there. It's like you were in a trance or something, and then wow, it's this amazing info and you needed it, or it's just something really interesting or that you're curious about, or that leads you somewhere else. So I know that's happened to me heaps. You might overhear a conversation or hear something on the radio or TV or wherever, and it's like, oh, that's just the info you needed to hear, and you can take it as a sign, or perhaps you see signs around you, or and trust in those. They're not accidental. You might just have a job or another opportunity that pops up out of the blue. You might one day, miss a bus, and then as it turns out, you end up meeting somebody, or you get some, you turn up late and that actually was beneficial for you for whatever reason. You might think of somebody and then they call you, or you bump into them. And you just, in general, start to have more heightened spiritual experiences, more signs, more intuition, and just in general your awareness is opening up. So this is like a progression of steps from that restlessness and dissatisfaction to then noticing signs and changes in relationships, to noticing those things around you. So this synchronicity, which is a term I think that was coined by the great psychologist we all know, Carl Jung, it's a kind of magical weaving of coincidences, which are really like synchronized events and happenings in our lives. It's all energy. So through the universal principle of cause and effect, it creates a kind of opening, or this moment in time where everything comes together and connects and converges. And it's like a magical effect of energy, and in that moment you might receive insight, or it has the potential for you to meet a person, or it leads you somewhere, or whatever it is. So these are not accidental, they're not random, it's not pure luck or chance, but rather it's a unified, meaningful kind of purposeful convergence or merging of energy, and where we attract people or situations or a sequence of events through the collective energy field, so the energy that surrounds and connects us all, that unites us, and like this divine matrix. And you can think of the movie The Matrix to help you conceptualize all that. So it shows us that life is not random, no, but that everything happens for a reason and is significant. So the key in all of this, and in our human lives, lies the awareness. So once you have the awareness, so when that happens and you go, it's like a little light bulb goes off, like what Oprah calls a little aha moment. And this awareness, the more that you're aware, then that awareness grows and expands, and then more things happen and you step into this kind of flow. All right, so the understanding, or rather the increasing of this awareness, is sort of helps us expand our consciousness, and then there's this underlying kind of principle or order of psychic energy in the universe that we can actually consciously access. But a lot of the time it happens unconsciously through synchronicity. So we're attracting through the primal depths of our consciousness or our unconscious knowing, and we can tap into this energy or this magic, and receive the insight, guidance, inspiration, ideas, and even deja vu. So sometimes these moments of magical energy are really, really subtle, and you might miss them or you might dismiss it. So the more that you pay your awareness to it, again, like I said before, the more that they'll happen. And at other times they're really loud and profound and you can't miss them. They're like hugely in your face or transformational. So I'm sure you've experienced a bit of both. Then there's a sense of destiny, like an unexplained force is guiding us, guiding our lives and leading us forward. And revealing the next step, which is beneficial for us. It shows us also that we have a greater, higher sense of purpose, and it helps us with that. So in these moments, we get excited and inspired and enlivened and awakened, and that's what it really does. And with this gut sense of knowing that this is real and not just some kind of random coincidence, then we can find a greater meaning in it, even if we don't quite understand it at the time. Like sometimes that awareness comes later. So we become aware that there is indeed a greater mysterious process, behind the scenes, and threading throughout our life on this planet and beyond, a kind of spiritual dynamism. And it's a realization or a kind of awakening or epiphany, that even just for a moment, if we are reminded that we are powerful spiritual beings and we are part of this giant matrix, and that all it takes is an open awareness as well as a natural expectation and stepping into the flow, and then it's a matter of energy. So the evidence of the greater power working through synchronicity is what James Redfield, the author of the Celestine Prophecy, calls the how of evolution. So i.e. how evolution has come about. So, and our own individual evolution, and that should say it all. So the second aspect of this first insight, because it is called a critical mass, is that from the 1960s onwards there has been and continues to be a kind of blooming or increasing heightening of conscious awareness, a rise in that. And this accelerated frequency of these experiences with the rapidly growing awareness of individuals, kind of like that's what they call the collective consciousness, has in effect created a critical mass, which is the title of the first insight. So this book doesn't say it yet. However, this divinely leads to the rising of frequency on the planet to a higher level. And I'm sure there'll be more information about energy in the book as we go along. So as each person awakens, one by one, each insight and the next step will be revealed. And that's what I love about this book, is that you can read each insight one at a time, and then it will reveal the next step. And it's very much like a metaphor for our life, because in our spiritual journey we're often revealed the next step one at a time. So you know, welcome to the world that we're now in, and thank you for listening, and I look forward to reading the next chapter. So my next video will be insight number 2. Okay, bye.